So this is the team that is working every day and at overtime right now to make our residents aware of the benefit of the earned income tax credit and the other tax benefits that are available to them, and to help them file their taxes and to help our residents live better lives. So I really wanted to bring them in because they're the unsung heroes of economic justice in Montgomery County. And taxes seems like such a dry topic sometimes, but it's about money, and economic justice is about money. And so we have the Community Action Board, our terrific team over at HHS, and many partners here today who are working, as I said, day in and day out and overtime now to get the word out. And so today's proclamation thanks them for their work. I'm going to read the proclamation, which does mention the names of the partners, and then I'm going to ask Pam Luckett, who is chair of the Community Action Board, to share some remarks, as well as Lisette, and your last name, Lisette? Yes, say that again? Engel. Lisette Engel will also share her story, and then we will wrap up. So, whereas, and actually I'll start by passing these proclamations out, okay? So if I could ask you, it's one per organization, so I'm going to leave you to sort that out. If you can file taxes, I know you can figure that one out. Good. Whereas, the Earned Income Tax Credit is among the most effective anti-poverty programs in the nation, and Montgomery County's Working Family Income Supplement offsets the high cost of living, helping to pay for childcare, housing, food, and transportation to keep working families economically stable. And whereas nearly 50,000 children in Montgomery County live in households that qualify for EITC, with children in families, the EITC are healthier, more likely to do better in school, attend college, and earn more as adults. And whereas 20% of eligible workers do not claim the EITC, and Community Action Agency's multilingual EITC outreach campaign has expanded outreach to Montgomery's diverse residents through collaboration with public and nonprofit partners, including the Office of Public Information and 311, Ride On, United Way of the National Capital Region, nonprofit public partners, and whereas low to moderate income families, including seniors, people with disabilities, and those with limited English proficiency, receive free tax help and are economically empowered through the efforts of trained IRS-certified volunteers affiliated with Volunteer Income Tax Assistance, VITA, and Tax Counseling for the Elderly, TCE programs. And whereas EITC advocacy outreach and free tax assistance is supported by local, state, and national partners and their funding, including Asian American Home Ownership Counseling, CASA, Cash Campaign of Maryland, Cafe Montgomery, Maryland, Family Services, Inc., Center on Budget and Policy Priorities, Chinese Cultural and Community Service Center, City of Gaithersburg, City of Rockville, Community Tax Aid, the Department of Health and Human Services and its Community Action Agency, the IRS, Maryland Department of Housing and Community Development, MCPS Head Start Pre-K, Montgomery College, the Office of Community Partnerships and its East County Regional Service Center, Gilchrist Immigrant Resource Center, and the Volunteer Center's RSVP ARP Tax Aid Program. Prosperity Now, Tax Center for Working Families, Zucchi, WorkSource Montgomery, United Way, and the University of Maryland Extension. That's the team. Now, therefore, do we, Isaiah Leggett as County Executive and myself, Hans Riemer, as County Council President, hereby proclaim January 30th, 2018 as Earned Income Tax Credit Awareness Day in Montgomery County. We urge all residents who may be eligible for EITC to seek free tax help through the Volunteer Income Tax Assistance and the Tax Counseling for the Elderly programs, and commend the many volunteers, organizations, and advocates who are dedicated to strengthening EITC outreach and free tax preparation. So thank you very much. Really appreciate your work. Pam?
Good morning, everybody. Thank you, Council President Riemer. Thank you to the County Council. Thank you to the Community Action Agency and the board and your tireless work. Thank you for all of our numerous partners who are up here and you heard listed. Just to say that we are so excited and happy to celebrate EITC Awareness Day. If you don't know a lot about EITC, I would suggest you research it, Google it, and find out. It is a mainstay. It is a lifeline. It is a boost boost for families, particularly low-income families. Studies show that families who participate with the EITC are able to help their families begin that first real step out of poverty. This morning, we heard some remarks from Uma Alawalia talking about the fact how hard it is to be poor in a wealthy county. And there's so many of our residents here who suffer that, and EITC has been an incredible boost for them. We know right now that about 20% of our eligible residents don't apply for EITC, so we're continuing the work to do the outreach, but we know that it is a life changer. And I'm going to step aside right now and let Ms. Lisette Engel, who is a member of our Community Action Board, but also has her own personal story about how EITC changed her life, share so that you can understand the real impact that it has in the lives of people. Thank you.
Good morning, everybody. Happy to be here with a group that works tirelessly for county residents. Happy to be here with everybody and with a great group and to be a part of this great group. I am a lifelong resident of Montgomery County. I have many roles that I play. I'm the executive director of The Dwelling Place, a nonprofit that houses homeless families. I am a community advocate as being part of the Community Action Board, and I'm also a parent. And for a very long time, I was a single parent. And as many of you all know, it is not easy to be a single parent in Montgomery County. But I had a wealth of resources available to me that made things a little bit easier for my family and I. And without a doubt, the EITC was one of them. The very first time I filed taxes after having worked for a full year, I received a return. And the very first thing I did with that check was to go out and buy a car. Being able to purchase a car made things so much easier for my family and I because now I could get a full-time job. Before having a car, I had to take 2 buses to my children's daycare, 2 buses back to work, 2 buses to come pick them up, 2 buses to go to school. And that was not easy when I had to go to evening classes at Montgomery College. So it was very scary to come back home. Being able to have a car gave me 4 additional hours a day with my children, which meant that I had time to share with them, which meant that I contributed to the development and made things a lot easier. So having the EITC does really contribute to the development and to the overall success and achievement of children. By that time, because I had a car and reliable transportation, I was able to get my daughter into a Head Start program, which is another great resource of the county. Having access to a full-day Head Start class allowed my daughter to have a better education, a better start into school, and definitely taught me a lot about being a leader and being involved and engaged in my community. Today, all those lessons have come full circle. I understood the importance of EITC, how it worked, the fact that every year it might get smaller, but being warned about that and being taught that by the awesome volunteers in VITA who are all certified to be able to do this for our low-income families made me be ready. And thanks to that EITC, I was able to get my children into summer camp, start their college savings, and teach them about financial literacy and the value of the dollar. I think it's very important to understand that there's a lot of myths about the EITC and returns. Our families do need that money. They use it to pay down debt, to increase their credit, to improve their credit, to purchase homes, to be self-sufficient. I work with the Dwelling Place now where all our families qualify for the EITC, and we worked with them to educate them on what they can do, how they can save, and the importance of it. So thank you for being champions of that.